Senator Burr has taken a lot of backlash because his committee subpoenaed 45 Jr. Um, Republicans have lashed out at out Thursday at Republicans lashed out Thursday at fellow GOP senator um, Richard Burr for his committee subpoena of 45's son, um, a move that suggested the Russia investigation is not case closed as some in the party insist. But 45 claims he was very surprised at the move. He shouldn't have been surprised. There's no way in hell he could not have seen this coming. The revolt by some against the Senate Intelligence Committee chairman comes after the Associated Press and other news outlets reported the panel is calling and done in 45 Jr. To answer some questions about his 2017 testimony to the panel as part of its probe into Russian election interference. But the issue of recalling 45's son laid bare the conflict inside the Squatters Party over whether probes involving Russian election meddling are still merited. It's the first known subpoena of a member of 45's immediate family and a new sign that the Senate panel is continuing with its own 2-year-long investigation, even after the release of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report and Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell from the Senate floor on Tuesday to move on. This case is closed. The Mueller report cleared um, at Donald at 45 Jr. and he's already spent 27 hours testifying before Congress, tweeted Burr's fellow North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis, one of several GOP senators who criticized Burr. It's time to move on and start focusing on issues that matter to Americans. A source familiar with the committee's deliberations said the subpoena went out weeks ago, and all committee members were aware of it. The person who requested an immunity to discuss internal negotiations said members had been regularly briefed on communications with 45 Jr. Burr wouldn't comment on the subpoena or the backlash Thursday, but at a Republican policy lunch, he walked through the timeline of events that led to the committee's decision. According to a person familiar with its comments, he requested um, to discuss but they requested an immunity to discuss the private meeting. Mitch McConnell then stood up and defended him, saying he trusted Burr according to the person. The subpoena appeared to catch the squatter and many of his allies by surprise. 45 said as much, adding to that, "My son is a very good person." No, he's not. 45, 45 Jr., the president said, had already testified for a massive amount of time. Chief of Staff Dick Mulvaney said Thursday he was not given a heads up, but 45's advisors had not yet decided if he would publicly attack Burr, which he probably more than will. According to two Republicans close to the White House, not authorized to speak privately about private discussions. The subpoena highlights a delicate bind facing Burr, a third-term senator who is not expected to run for re-election when his term is up in 2022. He has been adamant that the panel's Russia probe be bipartisan and fair, and has worked closely with the panel's top Democrat, Virginia Senator Mark Warner. The blowback against him inside the Senate was especially fierce from Republicans up for re-election in 2020, including Tillis and Senator John Cornyn for Texas, who said he understands the younger 45's frustration. "I think we have an important job to try to keep the Intelligence Committee out of politics," he added. Cornyn, who is on the intelligence panel, later said he has confidence in Burr. Other Republicans joined in. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul tweeted that Burr didn't get the memo that the Mueller case was closed. Texas Senator Ted Cruz tweeted, "There's no need for another subpoena for Don Jr. It's time to move on and focus on issues America care about." Of course, Rand Paul is failing to realize that the case is not closed. Criticism also came from the top Republican in the House. Endless investigations by either party won't change the fact that there was no collusion. Obviously, there was. "It's time to move on. It's time to focus on issues, not investigations," tweeted House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. But Florida Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican member of the panel, said he thinks the criticism of Burr is a fundamental misunderstanding of what the Senate Intelligence Committee is about, which is congressional oversight and not prosecution. The suggestion that Burr is failing to properly lead the committee is the first real sign of any discussion or any dissension among its members, who have worked together quietly since the panel's Russia investigation began in early 2017. Burr and Warner have often won praise for the panel's members, but also from McConnell through the probe. As the subpoena drew criticism from GOP ranks, Republicans scrambled Thursday to develop a more cohesive response. McConnell said in his Bitch McConnell said in his Tuesday speech that it was case closed on the Mueller probe, and it's not. But his office noted that he didn't go so far as to say the intelligence panel's work was done. Bitch McConnell's speech noted the importance of the committee's upcoming report. Mueller did not find evidence that 45 conspired with the Russians to meddle in the 2016 election, but did not make a recommendation on whether he obstructed justice. Burr's committee had renewed interest in talking to 45 Jr. after 45's former lawyer Michael Cohen testified earlier this year. Cohen told a House committee in February that he had briefed 45 Jr. approximately 10 times about a plan to build a 45 tower in Moscow before the squad rule election. 45 Jr. told the Senate Judiciary Committee in a separate interview in 2017 he was only peripherally aware of the proposal. He's full of shit. 45. The panel is also interested in talking to him about other topics, including the campaign meeting and 45 Tower with a Russian lawyer. Burr was named in Mueller's report as having possibly shared information with the White House after a confidential briefing in 2017, but the senator has since denied that he brought that information to the White House. He was saying he was talking about his own committee, which is full of shit, though.